Hey everybody, this is Michael Bryson for This is Bodybuilding, and I'm here today with IFBB Pro 212 bodybuilder Keone Pearson. How you doing, Keone?
I'm good, man. What about yourself?
I'm good, man. Glad that I'm really thankful for you joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Start off by saying congratulations on the big win in Chicago. Your second consecutive year of winning the Chicago Pro. How do you feel going into this year's Olympia? I think we're like 6.5 weeks out or so.
Yeah, we're 6.5. I'm very confident. Very confident. Just quiet this year. Just head down, hoodie on, just working for the whole prep, man. But I feel very confident with Olympia this year.
Good.
I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
It's going to be a really good show. I mean, the 212 is going to be stacked. I think that you have got to be considered one of the favorites going into, be a top contender to Sean Clarita. Big. I mean, I think the top four of last year, and yourself is who I would consider the most likely to be the top five.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. Like I said, I'm definitely ready to see how I compare with those other guys. I felt like the last 2 years I competed, even though I only did Chicago Pro, it was really against the same people because I had the same lineup. Basically, did it this year at Chicago Pro. So
really?
Kevin Johnson. You had Jason, both
Low.
of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had both of those. You had and a few other guys. So I mean, I feel like it was basically the same people with a little bit of new people, like the guy from Egypt, I believe that's where he's from, or Kuwait or something like that.
Ahmed. He who won the Chicago? No, sorry, he won the Texas Pro just a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, so I mean, it was a different people, but basically the same. So I'm excited to see how I stack up with the top Olympians at all of us at our best. So it's going to be good.
Well, I think we know you've already placed top four in classic physique at the Olympia and at the Arnold Classic, right? So your physique at its best is a high level professional physique that I think could stand next to anybody, to be honest.
I'm excited. I've never been at my best yet. I haven't reached that, top condition. I just haven't yet. I mean, nailed it yet, and it always nails down to like the last 48 hours of the show. And, your body can change overnight. So it's all about hitting that process right. And it's going to be different this time. And like my coach said, we're going to be ready.
Who's your coach this time around?
His name is David. I was working with John Meadows after Chicago Pro, and after he passed, it was a guy named David. He's a coach, but he was doing my health aspect of my prep, and then he took over. He was coached by John too, but he'd been working with John for years. So he coaches like him basically. He got the same. Yeah, he got like the same protocol as far as coaching wise, and he's great. Like I said, he's not very known, but I told him after this year's Olympia, people will know who you are. I am his first top athlete. So, it goes hand in hand. It works for both of us. He's getting me in my best shape, and it's like, I'm sort of kind of, like they see him prepping, myself is going to help him. So it goes hand in hand.
You turned pro back in 2017, right? Junior Nationals.
Yeah, so, Junior USA.
Junior USA, right. So, you've been doing it for a while now. Do you have, I always am curious about this type of stuff, because, all you guys have got coaches, you've got people who do nutrition, supplementation, everything. But do you yourself feel like you could kind of do your own thing?
Like
after this? Yes.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I feel like I could, because I know my body. I know what foods works for my body. I know what cardio works for me. I know how to get lean. Honestly, I know how to get shredded.
Right.
It's just really that second eye when you get in your head, when you feel like I look like shit. And then when you feel like you look like shit, you start doing more, you start adding more. But when you got a coach to look at you, he can be like, you look good. You don't need that. So that's why it's always good to have a coach. But I feel like all of us top bodybuilders like George or all these guys, I feel like we could prep ourselves because we've been doing it for so long.
Right. Yeah. I think any of you guys that are studious, that have like paid attention to what you've been doing, what your coach has been doing, that have brought you in thus far so good, you'd be able to do it yourselves. But I can understand that it's good to have that second pair of eyes. And I also think, especially probably for that last week or so, to have someone there to really who knows about protocols and supplementations and such, to know what to do, the little things to tweak in those last days.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, and I mean, all the greats in bodybuilding had coaches, right?
Right.
So it's like,
well,
you know.
Yeah, in the last couple of decades, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Phil, he's had a coach. I'm sure Phil, he's probably could diet himself. At least he's been doing it for a long time. But
yeah. I think most of those guys, most of y'all can do it until that. I think it's good to have that second pair of eyes, though.
200%.
Who were your sort of main influences as body? Were there anyone that you looked up to getting into bodybuilding that you thought, I kind of want to do that, be like that?
Funny because, like, I mean, I didn't start follow bodybuilding until 2016 when I started competing. I was 20 when I got into bodybuilding, 26 now. And I didn't even know who Flex Wooler, Ronnie Coleman was, to be honest with you. I really did not know.
All right, we're done talking. I'll talk to you later, Keone. No, I'm kidding.
I know, it's crazy, you know. It's like someone don't know nothing about football, but they know who Tom Brady is.
Right.
They heard of him. Like, I didn't really hear about none of those guys. Like, I really just was blind to the sport of bodybuilding. And then once I got on Instagram, I started like actually following influencers that was connected to those bodybuilders on Instagram. I started seeing like Flex Wooler, Sean Ray, and then I fell in love with you know, the aesthetics of like Flex and Sean. So Flex Wooler was the main guy, number one.
Yeah.
Sean Ray, Melvin Anthony. I mean, they all had pretty physiques, and those physiques that I kind of visualize, you know, want to look like on stage. Those type of things. Yeah.
It's funny because it's interesting as a fan myself to know that you weren't a fan for many, many years, but there's so many things about you that remind me of people from the past, which is why I thought you were perfect for classic physique, and you were perfect for classic physique. But I also do like your progression now. Certain poses that you hit are like guys from way back in the day. Your vacuum is incredible. What made you decide to do the vacuum?
I don't know, man. I learned how to do the vacuum literally the day before Junior USA. I turned pro. When I get off of this, whenever we shoot each other messages, I'll send you a picture of me in Junior USA when I turned pro. And I learned how to do a vacuum, and from there I just did it. But I didn't really knew it was called. I didn't know that was a classic look or anything.
Right.
I didn't know at the time. I was still fresh. And then as I continue to hit it, as I continue to grow, I started realizing like, damn, this really making my shape look crazy because I'm getting bigger everywhere else. Yeah. And for there, I just do the vacuum. And another thing I do it is because I have genetically split abs. It's a genetic thing. I just want to clear up. A lot of people think it's from gear or whatever, but it's a genetics thing I always had. And like John Meadows told me before he passed, it was like, I'm not going to say it because I don't know exactly what it is, but he said, as you get bigger, your abs will continue to try to split. So I have to do like certain exercises, like core exercises in the morning to try to, you know, prevent that. Like this off season, I have to train differently. I got to cut off a lot of heavy, different compound movements that allow my abs to contract, because if they do, they're going to grow.
Right.
So I have to cut that out so we can try to close them in a little bit more. But that's the reason why another thing I do the vacuum. But for the most part, I do it because of my shape, and that's what I'm known for. So I just continue to do it.
Yeah, I think that probably with the separated abs, that whole thing, I think that happens more like from what you said. It's more from it's genetics, but also it worsens or becomes more noticeable due to probably those heavy compound lifts that kind of force you're not the way the abs are the pressure on the abs during those things.
Yeah, so this is a genetic thing, something I have to deal with. It's something I can't control. I can. So I mean, we're definitely another thing, food.
Yeah.
I can't eat a lot of I can eat a lot of food, but I can't really push it. I shouldn't push the food like that because of my stomach.
Ronnie Coleman won 8 Olympias with separated abs, so I think you'll be okay.
And they got noticeable at the end, though.
Yeah. Well, his stomach got really distended. And that was all that food to get up to 300 pounds, I guess. Wasn't the best thing for his physique, in my opinion. But what was it that made you decide to go from classic? Because you were killing it, and like you were right there, 4th place at the Olympia, I believe, in classic physique. What was it that was the deciding factor for you to go to 212?
Bro, to be honest, 212 was never on my mind. I had a coach, PJ Braun, and he always said that, you could do 212, and I just didn't believe it at first. I didn't believe in myself that I even could get that size, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're talking about I'm 170 something pounds. You think I'm thinking about a 212 bodybuilder? No, I was thinking about winning the Classic Physique Olympia, but the way I felt like the look was going and the standard it was going towards, like the taller, which it is, because there's a lot of tall guys now.
Yeah, a lot of tall guys.
A lot. Even the top this year, I guarantee everybody's going to be tall. But anyway, I just felt like the standard was going somewhere else, and I felt like, I was already capping out the weight, and I was like literally killing myself just trying to make 180 pounds. So I was like, I just said, cool, let's do it. And I did that 212 route. And once I started growing and let my body grow and I started eating more, my body everything just like rounded up. Like I never had shoulders. Even in classic physique, I never had delts like that at all. Like the most confidence I get now is like, you're wide. I'm short and wide. And I have round delts. I never had delts until I grew in 212. So like the ever see the round is that, the potential that, in my physique that I see now is just it's mind blowing to me.
Yeah. I said I was surprised that you made the decision to go to 212, but now that you've done it and I've seen the results, I think that's definitely a great choice. And guys like you and George Peterson and other guys who have left classic to go to 212, I think are bringing a really nice aesthetic to that division that was sort of missing back in the day when there was like guys who were 5'3" or 5'4" and 212 pounds on stage, who were like little mini mass monsters. But now there's this return of aesthetics, which is, I think, very nice.
For sure. It is funny thinking back, like a lot of backlash that I got when I was going to transition. Like I can't tell you how much backlash I got from saying like, oh, I'm stupid for going 212, and I don't hear him talk anymore, but
right.
I mean, it was just really like, I was like, damn, be happy for me. I want to progress. But, I learned that everybody don't want to see you progress. Everybody don't want to, see you do better. So, but yeah, it's just funny thinking about that.
Yeah. I think it's a cool thing about the IFBB Pro League in that there are these different divisions, and it gives someone a starting point, and you can continue to grow and progress, move from one division to the next if you so choose. I kind of find it. I was kind of talking this to Tony Tavares as we were watching the Texas Pro, that I find it odd when some guys stay in men's physique forever and don't want to progress to that next thing, where at least in class, for me, it's not just me not being a fan of men's physique, because I'm a fan of bodybuilding and the posing and the routines and there's none of that excitement until you get to classic physique and then 212 and there. But
yeah, I mean, some physique guys like to stay in physique.
yeah,
But
it's more power to them.
I just tell people that, like, even though if you men's physique and you do got wheels, sometimes going to classic is always not good because those guys grew their physiques to men's physique, so they got that men's physique swagger. They got that. They just the men's physique standard. And I feel like
Yeah.
when you're already there and you built your physique into that category, it's kind of hard to transition to that classic physique. Like, like the only person I know that really did it the best was Logan Franklin. I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I saw him and I was a fan of him when he was in men's physique. I always thought Logan could have won the Mr. Olympia men's physique, which I truly think that he could have. But when he went to classic and transform, I'm like, dude literally could pose as he's one of the best posers now.
Yeah.
Men's physique. It's unbelievable. So I mean, you can do it. Not everybody.
Yeah. He's definitely done it, and yeah, I thought he could win the men's physique Olympia too, and I think he can at some point in time maybe win the classic physique Olympia. He's talented. Sadiq Hadzovic, I think, is the only other one that I can think of who transitioned.
Yeah, he did.
Success, but it didn't last for him.
My man Sadiq, I talked to him yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Try one of his protein bars out one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think 212 though is probably the place for you, right? No thoughts about going on to open.
Nah, the open. I won't be competing long enough to be thinking about open.
Yeah.
No open for me. I don't want to get that big.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable big in the off season anyway. I don't even want to think about trying to get that big for open. That's not my route.
Yeah. No, I think you're perfect for 212. So last year you qualified for the 212 Olympia with the same win in the Chicago Pro. And you didn't do the show. You were having some sort of was it stress related issues or
just depression. I was in depression. At Chicago. I was in depression during the prep. It didn't happen after. It was during Chicago Pro Prep. But I knew in my head after the show, I wasn't going to do Olympia. But I kept trying to tell myself I'm going to do it. But it was something else in my head. It was like, no, you're not ready for it. And I mentally wasn't ready. I was going through, like, I was battling some demons. I was going through a lot of personal things people don't know. A lot of people won't understand because they've never been through it before. So that's, like I said, that's the reason why I set out from Olympia. Got a lot of backlash from it. Like I said, people don't understand. There's people don't know what's going on behind these walls. They just see what you post on social media. People saying, "Oh, I wasn't going to be conditioned enough. I wasn't going to be ready. I'm going to be too small." I'm like, I'm going through depression reading this stuff. I'm like,
right.
Wow. I was like, these people are fucking blind. They really have no fucking clue.
Right.
That I'm a human being.
Did you sign off from social media, or it probably would have been smart?
I did a little bit. I was in San Diego for like 2 weeks after Chicago Pro, and I was so messed up in the head, man. I competed like at 202, 201. I was like 202 Chicago last year, and I got up to almost like 230 in a week. And I was just relying on food. And I was just eating.
Dude, I understand you 100% with this stuff. So
I never did it before, like I don't, and it wasn't even more so of a post-show appetite. Cause I was hungry, but it was like
feeding the demons instead of, I use food instead of drugs or alcohol, to try to comfort things. And it's not an answer, but yeah.
It's not. I mean, I never felt that before, but I just kept eating. I would literally just wake up. I would wake up in the morning so bloated, and I would still force a big dirty meal in the next morning.
Mm.
I don't know why. I would never do that again, but
Right.
I don't know why. That's just what I was going through.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I think you knew what you were going through at least, and it was a wise decision, because to go forward with the Olympia, or it just would not have been a good thing, I'm sure.
No, and honestly, after I binge ate, I binge eat, got up to like almost 2:30. I was super watery. I mean, it looked like I was probably like 25 weeks out from a show. I was so like soft and big. I was thinking like, maybe when I get back home, I can just really try to kill myself and prep for the Olympia.
Yeah.
And
And you might have.
I was thinking about it, but
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm gonna just go ahead and email the IFBB and let them know I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna attend, and that's what I did. And honestly, that was the best thing that happened to me, was to sit out,
Good.
because now I'm here in this position.
Yeah. Yeah. How was the organization with you in terms of you not doing the show? Were they supportive?
What, my sponsors?
No. I mean the IFBB and the Olympia
Oh,
folks.
I mean, they was fine. Whoever gave me the email, I just told them, hey, I'm not going to attend for the Mr. Olympia, just dealing with personal issues. It's like, okay, no problem. Hope everything is well. And that was
Good.
that,
Good.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be more of a process of like, you have to compete, but no, it was chill.
That's good to know. Because mental health is a serious issue. I mean, it's a serious thing. It's as serious as any sort of physical condition as well. So it's good to know that they weren't like dicks about it, and
Yeah, mental
supportive.
health is serious, especially in bodybuilding, even with the chemicals we put in our body, the stress, the long-term dieting on top of mental stuff that has nothing to do with bodybuilding, but you still have to deal with it while you're
Right.
prepping.
Right.
This ain't no easy sport.
No, I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough dealing with the stresses of life for people who aren't doing what you're doing to yourselves physically to become, Olympians. So I can imagine.
Yeah, sure.
How were sponsors? Were they fine?
No, that surprised me. I was like, I was worried at first. First, I was worried to tell my coach. First I was worried to tell my coach. I was like, ugh. I'm like his first athlete in Olympia. I'm like, I don't know if I want to tell him. And
Who was the coach at that time?
Dorian.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a owner of HD Muscle supplement company. But when I told him, I mean, he understand, he get it. He was like, if you took 2 years off, I respect you, just because you need to take care of your mental health. I let know all my sponsors, and they was very supportive. And
that's good.
Yeah, and I made a video on Instagram about mental health, and a lot of my sponsors saw that, and they loved that. And I actually got a sponsor from that. I signed with Gas. I signed with them after he saw the video. He was very pleased of how I handled things, and it just spoke a lot of character and just all that good stuff. And
yeah, it does. It's a you could have dealt with that very personally and very quietly and not made it public. People would understand that, but to make it public and to talk about it, it gives light to the situation and to people who are dealing with that same sort of thing too, but who are following you as fans. And that's a good thing,
Yeah, to this day, man, it's amazing. I have a more, you can check the age range of people that follows you on social media. And I have a lot of 17 to 25-year-olds that follow me around the world. And it's amazing to have those people to this day hit me up and be like, you saved me, you helped me, you spoke up for a lot of people that was hiding this depression, and and I get all these messages, and I'm just from this video.
Right. No, I think It is amazing. And it's what's great too for them to see is you went through that thing and you didn't do the Olympia and you dealt with the depression, but then you came back and you won the Chicago Pro again. So it gives people, I think, that hope of like, even when they're in the depths of it, to know that they can come out of it and achieve great things. And that's really, you're a great living example of that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, you can overcome anything, and you can overcome anything. So like this year for me is more so finish the job, finish the task. And that's this year honestly means like winning Chicago Pro this year meant way more than winning it last year. Last year, yeah, I won it, but I was so messed up in the head. Everything was a blur. This year was just very emotional. I mean, I wasn't very happy with the package I brought with Chicago Pro, but to know that I still got 11 weeks to be at my best for Olympia, and lit the fire in my eyes.
Were you bigger at this Chicago Pro than last year?
Can tell you, man. I was less. I mean, I was 200. I was 200.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the peak wasn't perfect, so I wasn't as sharp as I should have been, but I was 201. I looked at bigger, but I was actually leaner. I was leaner in some areas this year, but I feel like I looked at better last year, to be honest, in my opinion.
On my eye, you looked very similar to me both years. I mean, I think both years they were wins for sure. Like they were wins, but like you said, your peaking wasn't perfect, and I'm sure you'll get it down for this Olympia, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, that's what comes with the last hours, man. It's just because I knew what I brought to Chicago Pro. I didn't look like that 2 days before the show. I know I didn't look like that for the whole prep. I was shredded. I was peeled. I had glutes. I had everything you could think of. I was at my best for this show. You guys would have saw a whole different prodigy. But like I said, it didn't happen. But so we're not going to dwell on it. I was like, we still got the qualification. And, we're going to be there for Olympia. And we'll be ready. So.
For sure. Going into the Olympia, I know everyone that enters the show, in any show you enter, you're going there thinking you want to win. Is there a placing in the show that would cease to be satisfying to you? Is there like a place that you think you would be happy with that is in first place?
I can't think of nothing but first.
All right.
I mean, me being at my best, I truly feel like I can win it. And if you ask this question to any other top contender at Olympia, ain't nobody gonna say second place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna say third place. Everybody at their best, they're gonna feel like they can win it. And at this point, with the lineup, everybody at their best. Yeah. Because I don't think it's ever really been Olympia where everybody been at their best. I don't truly think it has been. But everybody at their best, anybody can win it. But
yeah,
I'm gunning for first. That's me. I just feel like I have a lot of things, shape, structure, especially posing.
Oh yeah.
I don't see anyone on that caliber with posing.
Yeah, and I posted today some pictures of Phil Heath from 2013 and Ronnie Coleman from 1998, and people were saying, "Well, you picked better poses for Phil," and other people were like, "Ronnie just didn't know how to pose." And the truth is, yeah, if Phil was to beat Ronnie, if those two guys were to actually have appeared on stage and competed, it would probably come down to the fact that Phil presented better. And that's a major part of bodybuilding. And you can win shows if you're like, let's just say if you and Derek are like neck and neck, and it's really hard to tell the difference between the quality of your physiques. When you outpose him, you get you'll win the show.
Yeah, I mean, presentation is everything, man. It's like flex.
Absolutely.
Yeah, different era, but those guys were still shredded. They still was in great shape, and I mean, I still think their condition is pretty comparable to now. I think so in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a picture I posted recently of Sean Ray hitting a back double bicep. This is nuts. That like on a
Yeah,
212, the stage today would be very dangerous.
yeah, it was shredded, but yeah, Flex was the most shredded guy in lower body, but like he beat a whole bunch of guys due to
Right.
his posing,
Yes.
presentation. It was just
Guys,
flawless.
guys like he and Chris Cormier back in the day, they won shows sometimes at 95, sometimes at 90%, because their physiques were so nutty otherwise, and they presented so well. And you're like that, but I know you're not going to show up at 90% at the Olympia. I know you're going to be 100%.
You can't. Like I told someone the other day on live, they asked me, will we see a conditioned Keone, like a peeled Keone? And I was like, I want to allow myself stepping on a Mr. Olympia stage, not peeled. Like, I was at my best shape when I competed in 2019 Olympia. And, you know, I was in really, really good shape. Yeah, I was smaller, but
you were supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was at my best. I was probably 95%. If I got any more leaner at the Olympia in 19, I would have looked smaller, even more smaller, because I didn't have that much muscle. But yeah, I wouldn't allow myself to get like that. And the coach that I got now, we wouldn't even allow that. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Good. I'm excited for you. I think, you know, with that top 4 of last year and yourself, it's really, I can't, you know, people always want me to predict who's going to win and what places. I absolutely cannot predict, because you guys are also amazing. And I would not be surprised if you end up winning the 212 Olympia this year.
It's going to be a fight. Like I said, it's not going to be easy for anyone. It's not going to be easy for anyone, because I know when Sean on, he's going to be on, and you know we're all battling him at this. We're all coming for him at the show.
Yes.
It ain't gonna be easy for anyone. It ain't gonna be no cakewalk for anyone. Ain't nobody gonna blow this person out the water. It's gonna be a battle, and Steve Weinberger is going to work the shit out of us.
Exactly. I can't wait for it, man. It's gonna be awesome. Is there anything that you want to say to fans or anybody before we leave?
You guys stay tuned for the Mr. Olympia. It's gonna be the best. I truly think, even though we say this every year, this is going to be the best Mr. Olympia. This is truly going to be the best Mr. Olympia. And just I think in probably all the years, 212.
212 and classic for sure.
Let's put 212 to the side for a second. I'm very excited for classic physique. I'm ready to see Robert Timms and
dude.
And
wasn't
Chris
that
Buck.
freaking impressive, Robert Timms last week?
Man, I've been knowing Robert Timms for years. And I talked to him 3 days ago. We talked on the phone. He was like, hey, we're going to check up on each other every week, see how we doing. And we talked. And me and him had a whole hour on conversation on the phone, recapping, you know, his prep. And I'm like, wow, dude, Robert's another level, man.
Yeah.
Took all them years off. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I said, classic physique is not going to be easy. Like some of these guys need to swallow the ego and throw the ego out the door. I'm like, it's a lot of new cucumbers, a lot of bigger guys. I know all of them are going to bring it, but Chris Bumstead definitely. I told someone, this is just my opinion.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Chris. I love his physique, but I said if he's off or he's slightly off from last year, it's going to be a new Mr. Classic Physique Olympia, because there's a lot of guys, and seem like Robert is definitely the talk in Olympia this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, because I expected him to be, if he was, I had no idea. I could see him in 3 years. And I thought, okay, if he's on, he might be able to make the top 3. But I thought Logan was going to walk away with the thing. But as soon as Robert came out on stage, man, it was just like, what is that? Like, it was spectacular.
Yeah, he looked like a creative player or something. Yeah, so it's gonna be good. Open Open, I think open is probably the most wide open category just because of like, you know, I guess, I don't know, I guess it's any, honestly, this year, Body 212 Classic and open is wide open. So it can be a new Mr. Olympia in every single category this year, in my opinion.
Very possible. I mean, Sean looked great at last year's Olympia. I had him win, he won by 1 point. I thought he won by more than that, but I had him winning pretty clearly. But obviously, it wasn't a super dominant win. He's never won before. Rami, same thing. He won, but not with straight firsts, and he's never won before. He's placed way down before. So there's really no telling what's going to happen this year in those divisions.
No, man, it's not. But I know everybody's going to bring it. It's going to be one hell of a battle at the Olympia this year.
I agree. Well, I'm going to wish you the best of luck, bro. I hope you do really, really well. I'm sure you will.
Thank you so much, man. It's always good to talk to you. And I'm going to go hit this gym session in a second, man, so we can get better.
All right. Yes, man. Stay on for 1 second after I sign off.
For sure.
All right, man. Everybody, I want to thank you guys for watching. Tell your friends to subscribe because you have great guests like Keone Pearson here, and I'm going to have others on coming up. I've already got some people lined up, so it's going to be great. Just please subscribe. Tell your friends to do so. Keone, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. I enjoyed it, man. Just
great. Thanks, brother. All right. Everybody, it's Michael Bryson, Keone Pearson. This is Bodybuilding. Take care.